Welcome to this DCam training video about reporting. We will be going over the purpose for reporting, reporting resources, and submitting a report. We will start with the purpose for reporting. While capturing records is of vital importance, giving an account of work done is also crucial. At Family Search, we need to be wise stewards with our time and the equipment we are entrusted with. Reporting helps make sure the camera setups are being utilized well. We want to continually improve our processes. We do this by having camera operators report time spent performing specific work functions for the week. Much of the information you will record is readily available in DCam. Let's look at what you will need in your reporting. There are a few items you will need to help you report the work you do every week. Some of the items are taken directly from reports, and some will be calculated and tracked manually. When you do your weekly reporting, you will retrieve information from two reports in DCam, the Digital Operator Report, also known as the DOR, and from Show My Results. You will also need to track and record other information related to your work time that is not specifically recorded by DCam. This includes the time spent doing a rework and the time doing other tasks. You will need internet access to submit your report. You may not have internet access where you are capturing, so you will probably want to write down the information you need. While there might be several ways of recording this information, we will use the TPR form for our example. Now we will act as if it is the end of the work week, so let's get the information we need. The first place we will look is the DOR. The DOR, or Digital Operator Report, is created when you transfer a folder onto an external hard drive. If the previously transferred folders are from the same project when a new folder is transferred, then the DOR will only be updated. Generally, you should have only one DOR a week. The only reasons you will have to record information from multiple DORs are if you worked on more than one project, you worked with more than one camera setup, or you did a rework. You can access the DOR after you transfer a folder onto the external hard drive. Though there is a DOR after transferring just one folder, you should wait till the end of the week to record most of the information you will need from the DOR. You access a DOR by going to the transfer page and under the DOR column clicking on Show. If you already shipped the external hard drive, you can click Ship History, find each media you shipped, and click on the corresponding DOR. The information you need from the DOR for new images taken is the project number, your operator number, the media number, the week ending date, the images taken, the camera you are using, and the camera's serial number. The information you need from a rework DOR is the number of images taken for a rework. Make sure not to list the images taken for a resend. If there is a resend and a rework in the same DOR, you will only have to record and total the number of images of the rework folders, omitting the images of the resend folders. Your operator number will stay the same, and the project number, camera, and camera's serial number might not change much. The media number, week ending date, and images taken will vary. Let's walk through extracting information from the DOR. Here we have a DOR. The project number can be found in this upper left area, and the operator number is found right below your username. The media number is the first column of this next section here. The next column has the week ending date. The second to last column has the number of images that were sent. At the bottom of the DOR, we find the camera below manufacturer with its model number below model, and the camera's serial number below serial number. We will record all the information in the fields. If you happen to be finishing a project, you might also want to make a note of that too. Now that we have this information, we can go to Show My Results. Show My Results is found on the DCam homepage in the upper right-hand side of the screen. For reporting purposes, we want the interval to be daily, and the measurement to be capture time. Since we are wanting the time for the last week, we can make the number of days to be 5 or 7. You might feel like these numbers are lower than the time you spent working. Just know that this is the time when you were actually capturing images. We now will record the time for each day. If you were doing a rework, you will want to keep track of that time as well. You will also keep track of all the other time you spend working. Now let's enter this information into the weekly report. Now that we have recorded the needed information, we can fill out the weekly report and submit it. The weekly report is referred to as the TPR, or Time and Production Report. You will be submitting this online. Now, on the home page in DCam, you may have noticed Show TPR. This is not where you submit the TPR. This is still under development and should not be used. Though that is the case, if you click on it, you will notice that it looks like the TPR we will be using online and like the TPR paper we filled out. So, to submit the weekly TPR, you will use the web browser to navigate to https://phoenix.familysearch.org. When you arrive, you will have to sign in with your FamilySearch username and password. After you sign in, you should see the screen. If you are having trouble signing in or displaying the TPR, contact your field supervisor. Once you are to this point, click the Time and Production Data Entry tab. The form will appear ready to be filled out. The first thing you do is enter your operator number and press Enter. This might auto-populate some fields. Even if it does, you will need to verify all the information. If it doesn't, enter the information manually. We will now enter the project number, week and date, which is always a Friday, the media number, camera type, new images, rework images, project status, which will remain current until the project is finished, then you will label it as completed, and the serial number. At this point, we have entered all the information from the DOR. What remains is recording our hours and the different tasks from the week. As you can see, there are several types of fields in this section where we record our hours. The most important fields are camera operations, rework retake, and document prep metadata. While it is good to fill in the other field types, we want to emphasize that the TPR should not be treated as a time card. While you are asked to not exceed 40 hours of work a week, this reporting form helps us know how the equipment is being utilized. Now let's enter our hours. We enter the hours we recorded from Show My Results into the camera operations and rework retake fields. Remember that we need to subtract the rework hours from the camera operations hours if we didn't write it down that way. The time from Show My Results does not include document prep, also known as doc prep, but we kept track of it and we enter those times for the entire week. At this point you might be done, but let's quickly cover the other fields. Testing and diagnostic is for when you have to take a large amount of time troubleshooting issues. Don't record time you take to calibrate the camera. Travel or move equipment will only be used if you have to move the camera setup to a new location and it takes a significant amount of time. Downtime can refer to times the archive is closed and possibly long stretches where you cannot capture images because you are waiting on the archive. If you add hours to the downtime fields, add an explanation in the comments section of this form. Account management likely won't be used by you at all, so don't worry about this field unless you are directed by your supervisor to do so. The other fields are times you didn't go to the archive for personal reasons or volunteer training. Like the downtime fields, make sure to add an explanation in the comments section of this form. Make sure to click Save to save the data you entered. That finishes up this video. Please take a look at the other DCam training videos. See you then!